who don't believe in vaccination, and he also said that our presence will kill babies. We live in Kaitaia. You know Ashnil Butt and Alicia Butt, and we strongly believe their life-threatening seizures and all other disabilities were caused by vaccination because our children had evolving neurological disorders confirmed by the children's neurologist when they were children. Sorry, I changed the wording. We're not live, are we? So I might read that bit again.
We're not live.
You know Ashnil Butt and Alicia Butt, and we strongly believe their life-threatening seizures and all other disabilities were caused by vaccination because our children had evolving neurological disorders confirmed by Ashnil and Alicia's neurologist when they were child. I think it's my English is different to your English. And vaccine contraindication is not to give vaccine to children with evolving neurological disorders, but they were given vaccines without any discussion on pros and cons with the parents. In very bold writing, can you please tell us, would you advise or give a child with evolving neurological disorders any vaccines? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Alicia started to have seizures 13 days after her DTPH vaccine, and Ashnil started seizures after a month after his MMR vaccine, and now their lives are always on the line. We would like to tell you that vaccines has destroyed our two children's lives, and our children would have been dead by now because of vaccines if it wasn't for us, the parents, giving 24/7 care and 24/7 supervision. And you've done it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
These vaccines have destroyed our lives, as well as constantly having to fight with the authorities for everything that our children need and are entitled for. Because you've done the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Parents should have the rights to make decisions whether they want to vaccinate or not after knowing pros and cons of vaccinations, and should not be dictated or bullied or intimidated by people like you. They should have the rights to make decisions whether it comes from vaccination group or anti-vaccination group. Can you please respond to this? And if you like to meet with us, we are welcome to talk about it in front of a mediator and a newspaper reporter, a TV reporter, so that they can hear and publish both sides of the story in the media. We will appreciate if you respond to this, as this is important for us and our children. Regards, Sushila and Royd Butt. And you sent that on May the 25th. What's the date now?
June the 9th.
No.
Okay.
No response so
No,
far.
there's no response.
Okay.
He's just ignored it.
Well, we don't.
Okay.
We don't
enough
know.
there, Roy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's hard.
If you don't mind my
I've
asking,
toughened up because I've been talking about it so much. Because the more you're able to talk about it, but I mean, we still have our tears, don't we?
yeah, I find it hard still hearing the stories.
And they need to know that it's painful. I mean, my husband I haven't got him on a video yet, but some dads are speaking out, and it's really important that the dads say something. Because
Absolutely, we need to hear
they
from the
make
men.
it sound like it's a mother's
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah, but
that
it's
the
not.
mothers made this up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's actually stronger to show that the dads. It's what you guys have been through is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't ever
And
happen
we're going to make
to
sure,
anyone.
like, with all of us finding each other,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to make sure that there's, maybe we all get on the same Facebook page, that we're all there for each other.
and that we
that
join
everybody's got
together.
everybody's phone
Yeah.
numbers so that you can call. I mean, poor Edwina, her son, she didn't know he had autism.
Mm-hmm.
He's 39, he's never had a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
He'd done all the screaming, all the head banging, all the, chronic diarrhea. He went through the whole, I think because she was very isolated and because he's a lot older,
Mm-hmm.
he missed the whole system of being diagnosed,
Mm-hmm.
and they put him in a psych ward, and he's been on psych medications.
For years.
I mean, imagine if you hadn't
20
fought
years.
for your children, for everything, that would have been, she didn't know. no one diagnosed.
And she thought she was a
Yeah.
bad parent. She thought she'd done something wrong.
Roy
So
has something to say.
she's blamed herself all this
Yeah,
time.
Roy has
39
something.
years. All those years.
At the present time, sort of, with Alicia and her Certifex medication, that I think that marijuana is similar to the same as like alcohol. That eventually you need more.
Tolerance goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically, Alicia, sort of, she's on a certain amount of medication now, but my feeling is she needs now to have it increased a bit to sort of keep the seizures more under control.
Does it, so
But
it really works really well, does it? I mean,
It does work well, but for cost cutting, they won't increase it.
Oh, so it's a budget thing.
I think so.
yeah,
okay.
and
Well, it's not much to ask, is it? Just
No.
to increase their medication.
Yeah. If it's helping her, they should
Oh,
increase
hang
it.
on. Oh, how about asking for more vaccines? You're allowed to have those.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think
But you're
so.
not allowed to
No, they have-
medical
I
marijuana.
mean, Roy's getting those flu vaccine, He's getting, like, from the doctors, he's
Oh.
getting phone calls if he wants to have flu vaccine,
Oh, no,
I've
yeah.
never
That,
I've
talk
never
about
had them.
insult to
flu
injury,
vaccine.
isn't it? Rubbing it in.
I've never needed them.
No, that's
I've
because
never-
you haven't destroyed your immune system.
That's right, yeah.
Do you mind if I ask, how do you see your children's future? I mean, obviously, as parents,
I
we're
think
not
they-
going to be around
I don't know. I
forever.
mean,
What-
we're not going
what's
to be
going to
around. What
happen?
happens? The future will be they have to end up. If we pass away, they have to end up in the residential home.
In an institution.
Yeah.
That's
And then-
that's why.
then-
As
And
parents,
then the abuse we see in residential home.
Yes.
I don't know. They will survive as long as.
And the drugging that goes on, they put them on heavy pharmaceuticals. They
that's
can,
right,
you
yeah.
sign away their rights, basically.
Yeah.
so
I
we
feel-
need to fight for housing for them. So we need to actually start fighting now for these kids' futures. Like we need the government to understand what we need their future care to look like.
We need them
Because
to take
it's the hardest
responsibility.
thing. It's the hardest thing not knowing where they're going to go. You need to know now, in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, where they could be going, and we need to be making that place good for them to go, and so that there's good people there, good nutrition, no drugs.
Yeah,
Because
and that
our children are reactors, aren't they, to vaccines and drugs?
they're not abused or anything like that. Yeah,
But then you can't guarantee because there will be one person there, a nasty person,
Yeah.
who will do it.
yeah, and
There's not always good people,
no.
And what about family? Have you got family?
I haven't got any families here in New Zealand,
Yeah.
Where are your family?
Fiji,
Okay.
and he's from UK.
What is the situation in Fiji with vaccinations? Do you know?
I think they also vaccinate.
A lot,
Yeah, I
or
think so.
do they force it? Is it mandated?
I don't know much about that,
Yeah.
because
Your family?
I can contact my sisters and find it, but I don't know.
Do your family over there have any damaged children?
No, they don't.
Because there's a lot less vaccines. Is that why? Or?
To be honest, I don't know about much
Okay.
about Fiji.
I'm just guessing.
You're
We
too
can
busy
find
over
out.
here. You're
Yeah.
way too busy.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. I'll research that too. Is there anything else any of you would like to say before we finish today?
Yes, with the marijuana situation is they're using the excuse that you only can have about four puffs because it's like a spray. 4 sprays is the limit. You can't have more than that.
Why have they restricted it like that? Do you think?
I think that medicine is not for epilepsy, it's for
It wasn't really
Multiple
for
sclerosis.
yeah,
I
something,
think.
yeah, multiple sclerosis, and
Pain relief.
Yeah, for pain relief. But Alicia was because of Alicia's condition, they prescribed her for that.
Uh-huh.
and it
She's
worked-
like one of the
it
first children. Well, she
Yeah.
is the first, isn't she?
No, there are other children also but not
Oh, yeah.
funded. But she's the first one who's funded in New Zealand.
So they haven't given you enough for her needs now because...
No.
No, I feel that.
And I feel that to be very angry that if something helping, they damage our children by giving vaccines, you know.
Yeah,
and if something, they should be doing whatever it costs. They should be doing good, you know, having good faith, do something for our children, you know.
But they just walk away and refuse to take responsibility,
That's right,
refuse to acknowledge it officially, and hang you out to dry, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they're more
it's
or
not
less-
good enough.
more or less sort of forget about us and
Yeah,
won't-
sweep you under the carpet.
don't want to help us anymore.
Our children's like a number, you know.
Yeah.
Look at our numbers.
And this is only the start. Sarah's only just started collecting these hearts recently, not that long ago.
I don't think anybody cares, you know. There's just like a number to them, like they have got hospital number, everything is numbered, you know.
Yeah.
They've got their hospital number. That's not Alicia's not recognized by name, or Ashton's not recognized by his name. They're recognized by numbers.
How have you found reactions from your family and friends when you've tried to say to them, or you've said to them, it's the vaccines did it? What has the response been like from
I
other
have
people?
never said that. I mean, I feel that I don't think, I mean, they never talk about Ishnil and Alicia, you know, and I feel like I'm isolated, you know, with my families.
So
It's too complicated.
Too
for them.
complicated, and I don't think they care that I've got two disabled children. They are looking after their own lives, you know.
So, which is why those of us with vaccine-injured children and vaccine injuries ourselves as well, some of us have bonded together through social media and found a family there.
We've all been We've all been isolated.
Because my family
Like
doesn't
this.
understand all this, you know. If
Yeah.
they start asking me too much questions and just, you know what, like a parents think, you know.
Yeah.
It's just insulting me, you know. So I don't talk about this to my families.
Do you think Edwina would be able to help with the marijuana funding side of things? Do you think there's any clout there? It's
I don't know. We're
No, I have gone.
Yeah.
I think the Northland Health, District Health Board. I mean, they said that whatever the doctors prescribe, they will be willing to fund. But I think it's the doctors. I don't know what's happening. She's restricted to give her that much. No?
Are you? So your doctor is in Kaitaia?
Dr. Means is our doctor, and
Specialist.
the specialist is based in Ongoy, and our GP can't prescribe.
So the
that.
specialist is the one that needs to up the dose?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And they reckon that she's gone on a maximum dose and they can't do it.
But that's just an excuse to.
But then, I mean, if it's helping her, they can increase it. Never mind, it's a maximum dose, isn't it?
This
That's
is
how I feel.
A question for Jonathan Coleman, isn't it?
Oh, he's useless because actually none of the staff will talk to me.
No. Well, I've had
No.
that reaction. I think all of us have had that reaction with the Gardasil injuries. The Gardasil mums have had that reaction.
It requires a concerted lobbying effort from getting people together from around the country to network and not give up, because we'll get there in the end. The truth is coming out. It's leaking out everywhere on the vaccines.
What's his name? That politician, the ACT one.
Peter Dunn.
Peter Dunn. Yeah, Peter Dunn. You know, he says that he's allowing marijuana, which he is, but how can doctors and specialists prescribe marijuana, medical marijuana to people that want it when they know that they can't afford $990
Only for 3 bottles, one supply.
Or I think the highest is, depending on
In Auckland, they cost $1,800 per 10 mils bottle.
So it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, so unless the government makes it, what do you call it?
Subsidised.
Pharmac funded.
Yeah, Pharmac funded. People who want it still are restricted from being able to have it.
Pharmac gave, New Zealand government gave 850 million taxpayers money to Pharmac last year, but obviously that's really only for pharmaceuticals. because they're in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies. Excuse me, cold. Yeah, so surely they can afford to step up on this one and help
We'll speak to a few people.
people.
Well, that
Yeah.
was to fund introducing the varicella vaccine this year on the 1st of July, plus HPV to boys. So
My
instead
God.
of addressing the problems that their vaccination schedule has already caused, they're looking to add to that and not support the people that are the casualties of their vaccination program already. So
That's why they won't recognise that vaccines are the cause. It
It's
brings
like a locomotive train
Yeah.
going through and causing destruction and keep going.
keep
and adding,
going. Yes.
You know,
instead of the money going back to remedy the destruction they've left behind, they're putting more fuel in the train to cause more
Yeah.
destruction.
Destruction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bizarre. It's
Okay. Well, thanks very much for your time.
have
Are
you
you
got
going to
well,
get? Are you
And
got
would you like to
special-
sign hearts for your children,
have
please?
you got special? Are you into numerology and want anything to add up to anything?
No.
No.
Any special numbers she means that you'd
Yeah.
like to have?
I thought.
Oh, you've got to.
I thought that, so. Their numbers were next to each other.
Have you got a pen?
We've got two pens.
Oh, good.
Have one each, two colours. Oh, get another gold one. Oh no, it's a
Is
gold.
that a good one?
So just
Oh,
write
hang
the
on.
children's name.
Hang on. Oh yeah, no, I think that's a good one. Just make sure it's a good one. I thought the pen was on this table. Let me have a look.
Just write the children's name.
Yeah, one for each. Thank
Right,
you.
whatever you'd like to say
Yeah.
too. If you have a message and which vaccines in particular.
The date of birth is actually quite good. No?
Do you want that up here?
Would you like to hold it up? Thank you.